Hi everyone, it's Nicole Spohr and welcome back to my channel. Today I am sharing a trio of 3 mini slimline cards that I have masked with a slimline mask that I kind of just made work for these mini slimline cards, but the focus is these darling brand new images from Colorado craft company Anita Jeram release, and there are tons of new stamps. I am focusing on a few today, but I'm going to have kind of a Father's Day post coming up soon that focuses more on just like the mother and father's stamp sets included in this release. Today's 3 main stamp sets I'm focusing on are the Proud of You set, which is perfect for graduation, but what I love is it's not graduation specific. So if you want to just have like a congrats, hooray, proud of you for any type of accomplishment, this is a great stamp set for that. I am using the Amazing Mom stamp set, which kind of more has like this cute mouse with all of her little babies. So it definitely works for Mother's Day, but I think that it could really work for any type of occasion you want to celebrate a mother, or even a new baby card. I think if you want to switch out that sentiment for a new baby, that would be great. And also we're going to be using the Love Art stamp set, and I love this one. Love it. It's Love Art because it is completely geared for us crafters, us makers. Cute little tree with flowers, and he's coloring in the flowers with like a marker. And I think one of my favorite things about this particular, or the 2 images in the Love Art set, is that there's markers and pens and all those great things, and he looks like he's coloring the blooms on this plant. I am going to be coloring everything with Copic markers today. I know it has been a hot minute since I have used Copic markers. I have been doing a lot of no-line coloring, a lot of Tombow marker coloring, watercolor markering. I always use a lot of zigs, and I think it's been a little bit since I've used Copics, and so I thought I would kind of come back to the alcohol ink markers today. I have stamped my images on some Nina smooth white cardstock. This is a 110-pound weight cardstock. I like the heavier weight when using my Copic markers. I find I just get better results this way. And I have used Lawn Fawn Jet Black ink, which is an ink made for Copic coloring, so that's perfect for this. You get good crisp images. If you noticed when I was stamping my images, I did stamp them all in a MISTI. You can kind of see how I manipulated the images to get as many as I could on this sheet of cardstock. I was pressing on my MISTI cover with a handle. This is the Stamper's Secret. I've been using it in all of my recent videos. If you are like me, and I probably have like the early signs of arthritis and stuff, it runs in my family. Plus I just do a lot of computer work and whatever, and so you know, it's not out of the realm. It could be anything, but I notice my hands hurt more lately. So if pushing on the cover of your MISTI hurts your hands to help get that nice even pressure, I highly recommend that tool, because you can press on the cover with it and it just really is gentle on your hands. So I'm coloring all my mice in first using E40, 43, 44, 47, and R00. Lots of different kind of, not lots, a couple of different combinations of these, especially the smaller mice, like the baby mice for this Amazing Mom stamp set image. I'm kind of concentrating on the lighter colors for the little ones, and then for the mama mouse, she's a little bit darker. The detail on these is of course beautiful. I know I have mentioned this in the other Anita Jeram videos I've done before, but I always loved reading Guess How Much I Love You to my kids when they were little. And of course, she is the illustrator for those images in the book. And it's always been a favorite. I've always loved the images, and they're just so, so beautiful. I'm loving that there is such an amazing range of stamps in this collection from Colorado Craft Company. It is by far one of my favorites, simply because I think the images are just very unique. Not similar to anything else out there, and beautiful. I am keeping my colors pretty neutral for the baby card. So, you know, lots of neutrals with the mice, but then we're going to do a pretty aqua and yellow for the stroller, the pram. This is Y000, 08, and 19. The scallop trim, that's aqua, and also the blanket is BG11 and 13. And then the wheels are going to be C6 and C7. Now, the rattle that the baby's holding, I forgot to color. We're going to come back to that. I'm flipping around just a little bit. I tried to do the mice first, and I completely forgot the mice in the Proud of You image. So we will definitely be coming back to that here in a little bit. I generally, if I am coloring a whole bunch of images, even for this, where I knew they were all going to be for different cards, I like to kind of do all of that first and then move on to building the rest of the card image. Let's go to our Love Art images, I should say. And we've got our mice, and then I love this individual one with the paintbrush. And keep in mind, a lot of these might work back with some of the previously released images. So you can definitely mix and match. And I colored the tip of the paint brush, not blush, with some blue markers, and then the rest of the brush with a little bit of kind of neutral light browns. So it looks like it's been dipped in blue ink. And then we've got the stem of our plant coming up out of the ground down there, and that's E55 and E57. I do want to mention, as I'm coloring a little bit here, that one of the fantastic things about the coordinating dies for these images, I would say a lot of coordinating dies from a lot of companies give you the outline and don't generally get up really close and tight with cutting in all the little nooks and crannies. Not all, but just a lot of them. One of my very, very favorite things about the coordinating dies for these Colorado Craft Company images is that they cut so close, and they're going to cut out little nooks and crannies. You're going to see that here when I die cut these, but it really provides you with a much more close cut where you're going to see more of the background. So I am going to do a simple inking, but if you have a little bit more going on in the background, maybe you're going to use some clouds or other types of design stencils or dies or whatever it might be, you're going to see those through little cutouts. And I think that's really fantastic because you can see how detailed these images are. I am coloring in all of the little blooms on this plant in yellow. I don't know what it is, but I have really been drawn to yellow lately. Everything, it seems like, it's got some yellow in it. Maybe it's because I'm longing for sunshine and warm days. The rest, there are some little leaves on here. Those are G24 and 28. I like the mix of this here. So, so pretty. I think it's just very springy, summery, and just happy. And then of course we've got to add in a rainbow somewhere. This is a very teeny tiny rainbow, but we're going to try to hit all of the colors down here in our little tool cup. I'm going to do a little red cup with yellow polka dots, and then the pens and pencils and paint brushes and all that good stuff. We're just going to try to hit with lots of colors. So some reds, some pinks, more yellow greens. This time I'm going to do a little limier green, which is going to be YG 21 and 17. Even orange, YR 04 and 09. I didn't really use those anywhere else. And then a darker blue, like the paintbrush from the individual mouse, which is B1 and 6. Moving on to our largest image. So this image is pretty substantial and big, and this is one of the reasons why I love that the die is cut up so close, because it's going to cut out all of those little areas in between each critter, meaning it's just not going to seem quite as die-ish as some dies do, and I love that. These guys are all going to be in neutrals. I mean, lots of browns, kind of orangey browns, grays, all of that good stuff. I love this. I love the little kitty. I did do some little stripes, and I really had to work because I wasn't loving my color combination for the lightest base color of my kitty, and so I worked to that quite a bit. It's one of my favorite things about Copics is they are forgiving, and you can always color over and reblend if you need to. But then there's a dog and some mice and a bunny, and it's just really, really sweet. And I love how they all look like they're, you know, celebrating, and it's just cute and funny. This is where I was talking about, I kind of missed a few little things like the some of the paintbrushes and whatnot. So I'm going back and coloring all of those in, making sure I haven't missed anything, and I'm going to color that rattle. Remember here a minute ago I mentioned I hadn't got that rattle yet, so we're going to go ahead and color that with some pinks. So we got a little pink, blue, and yellow in this baby image. All right, back to our celebrating proud of you critters. Light grays for our big bunny here. I do use a nice dark gray to kind of outline and add in those darker areas for shading. And then warm gray 2 and 00 are going to be our colors we use to blend it all out. Some nice pink for the cheeks. And then I decided to do kind of like a little spotted puppy here. So we're going to just use a little bit darker pull in some warm gray 8 with our warm gray 5, and then kind of keep the quote unquote white areas of the dog with warm gray 2 and 00. It's coming to life. We are almost at the end of our coloring, and then we can die cut everything and start building some simple backgrounds. Part of the reason I went with a simple background for these images is that they are so detailed and so beautiful, and I really wanted them to speak for themselves and be the star of the show. I'm also going to mention quickly, I had originally thought that I would do a standard A2 sized card. They would be amazing on that. You could create something very, very similar. There's lots of masking stencils made for A2 size cards, so you could for sure do that easily. One of the reasons I didn't is I was looking at them. I had A2 card bases out and everything, and I realized I didn't have like as many extra things, and so I thought, what if I kind of shrink it down a little bit and use a mini Slimline? Will the images fit? So I had laid everything out. Real quick, look at the die cutting here on this and how it die cuts all these areas out. So amazing, right? I love that. So I laid them all out on mini Slimline card bases, and I was thrilled to see that they all fit. They all fit in a good way. Keeps the focus right on these images. They're really cute, super duper fun and mailable. I know a lot of you have mentioned you like the mini Slimline size. I do too. I like that kind of mini size, but it's still, the height is very similar to an A2 size card base. It's just kind of cutting it in half a bit. So this is my mini Slimline card base, and I'm going to use a Slimline mask to create this masked image. So we're not even adding an extra layer on our card base. Now I am going to have to move it because this is made for a traditional slimline card base, which measures 8.5 by 3.5. A mini slimline is 3 1/8 by 6 1/4. And because of that, I didn't really have a mask that worked, but you can see that you can manipulate this slimline mask and make it work. I always love trying to find ways to use the products we maybe already have in our stash in a non-traditional way. And I love anytime that I can find a way to keep my card relatively flat. All 3 of these cards are going to be super mailable, meaning they do not have anything bulky that's going to hinder them going through the mail. So they should go through the mail super, super easily, which I really love. I'm also using some of the Hero Hues Reactive inks. I love Reactive inks. They work much like Distress inks. They do react with water. I'm not using them that way today. They're just bright and happy and just provide perfect coverage on the background. I'm using my Gina K blending brushes here. The blue is Pool Party. The green is Green Apple. I used a couple different colors just depending on the background. I also used Splash on one of them instead of the Pool Party, but this gives you a little bit more of an aqua background. And you can see how I'm just working those colors, the green down near the bottom to kind of mimic grass, and then the blue sky, and it instantly provides a background scene for this image. Now I want to position the image for the Amazing Mom card so that it's over to one side a little bit, naturally leaving area for my stamped sentiment. And one of my favorite things to do to kind of just tie it all in, finish off our scene, is I'm going to take a Copic marker and draw in some blades of grass to reinforce the feeling of grass along the bottom of the card. We're just using an easy feathering technique where I'm pulling the marker up, creating little tufts of grass. Look how cute that looks. Very, very quick and easy. Nothing hard here as far as background building. And then we're going to put a little glue on the back of our image and glue that down. And just look at the die cutting, even in the wheels. I'm just blown away, you guys. I think the dies are so good for this. I love, love, love them. And I'm putting an acrylic block on top to help hold this down flat for a second. I'm going to play around with my stamps, and I love that you can really kind of build whatever you want here. And remember, if you have a baby sentiment for this, like for a new baby, that would be really cute too. Definitely shop your stash and see what you have on hand, because I think this would make a fantastic new baby card. On this front, I'm going to stamp the phrase, "It takes a strong woman to be a great," and I'm going to stamp that in black. And what I love is there's like mom, and mama. You could use any of those that you want. I stamped this phrase in black, but then I'm going to add mom with my Pool Party ink. So that's the same ink I used for the sky color. And I'm using the Misty in case I need to stamp it more than once. I've had to stamp everything more than once. I want to make sure my sentiment is really good coverage. And then on the inside of the card, so we're going to flip the card over and stamp inside, and "You are the strongest ever." A couple of the cards today actually have extra sentiments inside, which I love because I think that just finishes off the card so nice. And a couple of the cards we're even going to embellish the envelope. So Simon Says Stamp actually has some mini Slimline envelopes. They also have Slimline envelopes. I'm hoping they come out with more mini Slimlines in additional colors because I love them. I love a colorful envelope. If you get a card from me, it generally always comes with a colorful envelope, and anymore, a lot of them are coming with decorated envelopes because I'm really into that. It's pretty simple, and today is no exception. It's very simple. We're actually going to take images from the cards we're using and stamp them on the front with a similar ink for a tone-on-tone look. I don't want it to overpower the front of the card or the envelope, but I want it to complement it. So this image of the mama with the stroller, we're going to stamp on our mini Slimline with the Lemon Drop Hero Hues Reactive ink. And I'm cleaning my stamp right now because it has some black ink residue on it, and I don't want any of that black to transfer to my yellow envelope. But I thought the yellow would pick up the color of the stroller and also the little, I don't know, I'm sure it's some sort of a dandelion plant or something that she's holding over that, blocking out the sun from her baby. At least that's what I'm imagining. It might be something else, who knows. I'm going to grab my other Misty for this, and then I need to figure out my placement. So I'm just kind of playing around, and I think I want her coming in from the right side. It's going to chop off some of the tails, but that's okay. It's going to give the majority of the image on the envelope. But again, I want to be able to, for the recipient, for the name of the recipient to be easy to be read. So I'm going to do a tone on tone here. I have noticed I like the look of stamping and embossing on envelopes, but I don't like how it often warps the envelope, as heat embossing is prone to do. And so I've been trying out this tone on tone, and I like that a lot better. So that first card, the majority of it's done. We are going to add a few simple embellishments here at the end. Let's go ahead and do our next background. All the backgrounds today are basically the same. They're all going to be like blue and green kind of outdoor scenes because I think that works really well. I'm going to show you this again. This is the splash ink. I am going to speed this up a little bit quicker since you have already seen the masking of this and moving the mask to make this work on a mini Slimline. I like to kind of gradually work that color in. You'll also notice that even with these blending brushes, I will kind of pull the color from the side into the cardstock, onto the panel. So I'm not getting a big glob of color right on my background. I even mixed in a little Pool Party here. So this card actually has Pool Party and Splash reactive inks. So I'm up at the top is Splash, then Pool Party, and then at the bottom, that's where we're going to add our green apple. So we need to shift our stencil up a little bit and then add in this color. And you can see I accidentally kind of got a big glob of green down here, so it's going to take a little extra work to blend that out so it doesn't look quite as dark. But I think that's going to work. And then of course we're going to add in our cute little critters. It naturally leaves a fantastic spot up at the top for a sentiment. I'm going to use "I feel that there is nothing more truly artistic than to love people," a quote by Van Gogh. I like that up there at the top. We're going to stamp that with a little black. Perfect. So cute. We're even going to top the top of this with a little red heart accent in a minute. We'll go ahead and glue down our images, and second card is basically done just like that. So super quick and easy. I will say with the die cut so close to the images on these that I love a liquid glue. It makes it really easy. Oh, and don't forget I'm adding those little blades of grass. I think the only card I didn't do that on is the last card. I kind of wish I would have now. I think I probably forgot, but maybe I'll go back and do it later. I really love these guys. Really cute. Okay, let's go ahead and do our last background really quick, another landscape style. So I did both landscape and portrait today. Same basic technique. I will say too, if you're going to do more cards than just one at a time like I'm doing today, I highly recommend cleaning your masking stencil or whatever stencil, if you're using a stencil, in between each use so you don't accidentally pull color into the card. Even when using the same colors, I think it's just nice and safe, so maybe you don't accidentally pick up some green or whatever into the blue. I just really recommend just giving it a quick once over before you use it on your next background. We're back to the pool party and green apple for this last one. Now the Proud of You image takes up way more room on the card than any of the others really. So I'm going to shift it just a teeny tiny bit over to the right. And then I'm going to place my sentiment over to the left because there's really not a great place to put. I wanted to use the congratulations graduate sentiment, and there's just not a super good place for that to go on the background. So I kind of put it up there in the corner. I think that'll work perfectly. We're going to do a whole scattering of stars here. This is another card where I'm going to have a stamped sentiment inside. This is going to have the "We are all rooting for you." And again, you can switch out the front sentiment very easily to "So very proud of you," a big yay, bravo, hooray, any of those. And it can instantly be another kind of congratulation card that isn't necessarily a graduate or a congratulations card, not a graduation card. We'll glue this image down, and then we have just a little embellishing to do to finish up these card designs. And I want to keep it as close to center as possible, really. I didn't want a ton of extra room on either side. Now I've got some little pink heart accents. I'm going to do a little trio of 3 pink ones here on the mom card, 1 on the stroller, and 2 underneath the sentiment. For the love art card, I'm going to do just a single red heart. I kind of kept trying to put more than 1 on here, but I didn't love how it looked. Generally, I like a trio of heart accents, and I think they would have been cute and fine, but that 1 heart up at the top really just, for me, looked the most balanced. I'm trying to keep them really simple. I'll just put a little dab of glue. I mean, I kept trying to add hearts to this one, but ultimately I'm glad I kept it at the 1. And this envelope just features the single mouse with the paintbrush, and he's shifted over there to the left on the envelope, stamped with the Lemon Drop Reactive ink for that tone-on-tone envelope. I didn't do an image for the Proud of You card. I'm not sure. If I do it, I could shift it down a little bit so only, well, not really, because it's going to cut off the mice. So that was partly why I didn't do it. I can't decide. Maybe I should just do tone-on-tone right in the center of the envelope. You guys tell me what you think. I think, I mean, you could still be able to see the image lightly, and you could still read the recipient's name and address. I might do that. I couldn't decide, and so I didn't do it for the video, but the more I think about it, I think I might go back and do that because I like the look. I've added a little red heart to one of our critters, and then we're just going to put a whole scattering of little teeny tiny dabs of glue all around the card, and then add these little matte gold star confetti pieces. I like those for celebrations, especially. I mean, I like them for all kinds of cards, but for a celebration design, I think the little stars, it's almost like throwing confetti up in the air or whatever. And that looks like I need to add a few more. I mean, if a lot is good, more is better. I don't know. I love these little silver, or all of the little confetti pieces. And that is it. Now, I did go in and do the final detail. I have not done this a lot lately. I've been using other coloring mediums to color in the eyes, but I am back to my very favorite black jelly roll pen, where I'm going back over the images and adding in the eye detail. And I think you can really see the difference. It makes their faces pop. I went through, I did all the eyes. I did add a little white accent to the nose on the puppy, and I started to add it on a couple of the cheeks, and then I decided I didn't really want to do that on all the cards. So I'm not going to really do white accents here today, but I did do all the eyes. But when I got through all of the cards and I kind of came back around, I decided to try adding little black noses to the mice, and I loved it. So I did go in and add a little tiny dot with my black jelly roll pen to the tips of the mice noses, and instantly, doesn't their face look so much different? I know it's such a tiny thing, but I think it makes a world of difference. And we're going to do that for all of the rest of these guys too. Just a little dab, kind of straight down on the nose. And that is it. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for these mini Slimline cards featuring Anita Jeram images. The supplies I used to create my cards are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here is another video featuring Colorado Craft Company Anita Jeram stamps and dies that you might be interested in. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell to never miss a new card making video. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll see you next time.